Hello my fellow gamers, my name is Peter and welcome to 9 gameplay tips for Anno 1800. In this video I will show you and explain everything from how to make money easily and win in naval battles, to using trade ships to grab great item offers at traders, and how buildings area effect range works. Let's start from money making tips. First one is a really simple one and quite profitable. You do not even have to go out of your way in your standard game for this. What you first need is to know the location of the prison, which you will eventually find when you explore the map. The second thing that you need is to get to the soap production chain. Then just make that chain a little bit more robust so you can produce more of soaps than your citizens actually need. And lastly, depending on the map and your production rate, you need about 2 small trade ships. Now, just put this all together by setting up a trade route between your island, which produces the excess soap, and the prison. Set the amount you can produce and sell on a regular basis without leaving your citizens without soap, and watch the money start to roll in. The second money making tip is even simpler. It also includes one of the NPC traders. This time you need to locate Sir Archibald Blake. He deals in ships, and besides selling them, he will also buy them. And since you probably already own a shipyard, you can upgrade your capacity for ship making, making sure to have tons of timber and sails available, and just keep making and selling small ships to Sir Archibald Blake. For any ship, it is more profitable to build it and then sell it, rather than selling the resources required to build those ships separately. As I am a huge fan of Anno games, I have many more Anno tutorials and guides you can check out on my channel by clicking on the link up here on the right and in the description below. Now onto naval combat tips. As with any conflict, the more numerous side almost always wins, but that doesn't mean you cannot use tactics and win even if you are outnumbered or outclassed. I will go much more in depth on this subject in my next video, which I will link up here on the right and in the description below. But for this one, I will advise you to always try and use the wind direction to set up an attack on the enemy ship so that you can fire your cannons on them, but they cannot fire back. This will let you win a frigate fight against a ship of the line, or win a battle with a gunboat against a frigate. It does take a lot of micromanaging and trial and error, but it can turn the tide of many naval conflicts with other traders or pirates. As for my warehouse and trade tips, I also have 2 of them for you. First one is that you shouldn't forget that your trade post has a transportation capacity just like the warehouses. When you settle a new island, or even on your own home island, you can save on upkeep by setting up production chains in the range of that trade port and use its transport capacity to collect or send out finished goods. The second tip about warehouses is to keep buildings which produce the last item in a production chain as close to them as possible, because this will keep the transportation times low and speed up production. Buildings which extract or produce raw resources transfer these items to production buildings and do not really require a warehouse if production buildings have available storage space. If you have been enjoying this video, please do not mind me reminding you to hit that like button below and leave a comment about, do you stay enemies with pirates or do you make peace with them? You could also subscribe if you would like to see more content like this. My next 2 tips are about the placement of buildings which have certain area of effects, like the market, church, school, pub, police station, and so on. These buildings all require road access, and it is by these roads that they spread around their influence to nearby homes. This influence area effect is circular, and so requires you to set up such a configuration of homes that you can cover as many as possible with as few of these buildings as possible to reduce resource requirements and maintenance costs. This is an example of one such design, which lets you have room in the middle for the endgame buildings as well as beautifications. You can also check the NPC's design and steal their ideas, since they were programmed by the developers of the game. The second tip about homes and citizen population is that goods they need and require are calculated per home and not per actual number of citizens. So while you might think that you do not have many workers or artisans in your city and do not require a lot of goods for them, you will be wrong. The more needs you fill and the more goods you make available at the market, the more citizens will occupy each home. But this will not decrease the amount of goods you need to supply. So do not overbuild homes, but try to satisfy the needs of your citizens. It is more efficient and cost effective that way. I have explained a lot more about this production and demand in my previous video, in which I talked about my 5 production tips for Anno 1800. You can see it by clicking on the link up here on the right and in the description below. And now on to the last 2 tips for this video. These are about using trade ships to grab great offers at traders before those offers expire. Since you can see what items traders are offering all the time, You might wait to see a good offer before sending a ship there to get it, but by the time your ship gets there, the offer might be changed to something else. You can prevent this from happening by anchoring small trade ships at each of the 3 trader islands, and always have a ship standing by to grab those great offers when they appear. Another tip about the trade ships is that once you manage to get your hands on a Clipper class ship, you can upgrade your trade routes with these ships, as they can carry up to 4 stacks of goods in their cargo holds. Then you can switch your previous multiple trade routes, each with 2 goods, into just one trade route with 4 goods. This will also reduce the number of ships you must guard with gunboats and make the trade routes simpler. As this is all I wanted to cover in this video, you can click on the cards on the screen right now to check out some of my other tutorial tips and guides about Anno 1800. Thank you for watching and happy gaming!